Have you ever found yourself, nodding along to that idea that AI will create more jobs than it destroys? It's definitely a comforting thought, but what if the reality, the thing that's actually unfolding right now, is way more immediate and maybe more profound than we're really being told? Today, we're diving deep into a topic that tackles that comfortable idea head on, the AI jobs collapse. Our mission here is to unpack the insights from this really compelling article. It's titled, The AI Jobs Collapse Has Already Begun and What's Coming Next. We want to get to grips with why the author believes we're already seeing a major shift, maybe even an irreversible one. So we'll pull out the key arguments, the specific examples, all distilled right here for you. Okay, so let's really unpack this article's core premise. It pushes back hard against that common narrative, the one we just mentioned. Instead of thinking about a gradual shift, some jobs go, new ones pop up, the author argues a significant collapse in the job market due to AI. It's already started.
Yeah, already begun. That's the key phrase.
Exactly. And they don't really pull any punches. They suggest the wider consequences just aren't being fully grasped, not by the public, not by policymakers.
Mhm.
And this isn't just about AI replacing repetitive tasks, simple stuff.
Mhm.
The article talks about entire income streams just vanishing,
Right.
shrinking tax bases, which is huge, and a fundamental restructuring of the whole middle class as we know it.
And what's really striking, I think, is how this goes beyond that standard story we usually hear.
Yeah.
The article is pretty blunt. New jobs are absolutely not showing up fast enough or at the right scale to make up for the losses.
Not even close, according to this view.
Not even close. Instead, it argues lots of people, especially those in jobs that felt secure, middle-class roles, they're being pushed out now. And the focus is really on whole sources of revenue disappearing. Not just paychecks for individuals, but tax income for governments, too.
Which obviously has massive knock-on effects.
Massive, cascading implications for, well, everything.
What really hammered home the practical power of AI, at least in the article, was this personal example the author shared.
Oh, yeah, the property entrance thing.
That's the one. He describes being stuck in this incredibly bureaucratic months-long process just to get approval for a new entrance to his property. We're talking a 200-page government document he had to sift through for specific requirements needing planning drawings, the whole 9 yards.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Totally. So what did he do? He used AI. Cut right through it all, got the exact info, even generated the drawings.
Wow.
Saved himself months of time, months of frustration.
And that anecdote, it's quite telling, isn't it? It links straight to the bigger point the article is making. That kind of efficiency boost just highlights how AI can, well, pretty quickly replace tasks usually done by people. People who might be, as the author kind of implies, less motivated or maybe just bogged down by inefficient systems in certain surface jobs.
Right. It exposes that inefficiency.
Exactly. It exposes inefficiency, maybe even apathy sometimes, that AI just bypasses, and that causes major disruption in those areas.
And when you think about scaling that kind of individual efficiency gain across the whole economy, well, the economic implications the article lays out are pretty stark.
Yeah, stark is the word.
It warns we could be heading towards unemployment rates like the Great Depression. I think 20, maybe 25%.
Which is just staggering to contemplate.
It really is. And the article claims this could set off what it calls a death spiral. Picture this. Consumer demand collapses because people aren't earning. Tax revenues plummet. Government debt explodes.
Social safety nets start to buckle.
Right, under incredible strain. And then you get rising social and political instability. It's presented as this really grim chain reaction.
It truly is. And the article gets quite specific about which jobs are in the crosshairs. It makes it really clear AI isn't just about basic jobs anymore. That ship has sailed, maybe. It's actively taking over sophisticated work. Things like design, complex legal tasks, software development,
Customer support, advertising, translation.
even research. And a really key point the author makes is about junior and entry-level positions. They're increasingly just being eliminated. Why? Because AI agents are cheaper, they're faster, and, well, as the article puts it pretty bluntly, they don't complain.
Ooh, that's a cold assessment.
It is, but it reflects the economic logic driving some of this.
And to help us kind of visualize the scope of this, the article breaks down professions into risk categories. So high risk,
Hmm.
Think administrative roles, customer service, fast food workers, checkout staff, drivers, dispatchers.
Okay, sort of the roles often cited.
Yeah, many of them. Then you move to medium risk, and this includes retail, parts of finance, legal again, education, manufacturing.
So a much broader swath of the economy there.
Definitely. And then low risk. These are jobs needing complex, human-centered judgment, empathy.
Like the paramedic example.
Exactly. Paramedics dealing with unpredictable, high-stakes life and death situations, things that demand that uniquely human touch, that improvisation.
And if we zoom out again, the article really stresses this isn't just a problem for, say, the US or Europe. It's global. Countries that have really built up their economies around outsourcing.
Mhm.
Think India, the Philippines.
Huge BPO sectors there.
Huge. They face a genuine crisis as the demand for those virtual employees just dries up because AI can do more and more of it.
So that could trigger.
Well, the article suggests a wave of economic instability spreading globally, potentially even new refugee crises, as skilled people in those regions have to look elsewhere for opportunities. It's a real global ripple effect.
And then there's the wealth inequality angle connecting this to stock market dynamics. The article throws out a pretty stark statistic.
And ownership concentration.
Yeah, that the wealthiest 10% of Americans already own almost 89% of all stocks.
Right. Which sets up the next point. The potential outcome, as the article paints it, is significant and quite worrying. As AI drives productivity and likely corporate profits, the total value of the stock market could soar.
Good news for stockholders, you'd think.
Well, yes and no. Good news for the 10% who own most of it. But the article strongly argues the bottom 90% could still end up losing trillions in overall wealth. Why? Because their job opportunities and wages are falling at the same time.
So the gains are hyper-concentrated.
Exactly. The economic benefits from AI get funneled to a very small group, making existing inequality much, much deeper.
Which leads right into this idea of the disappearing middle class, and a term the article uses, employment scarring.
Employment scarring, that's powerful.
It is. The idea is as more people get laid off, they spend less. Businesses then fail or shrink, leading to more layoffs. It's a vicious cycle.
And it leaves scars.
Yeah, deep marks on people's careers, their long-term earnings potential, and just the overall health of the economy. The article argues that as the middle class shrinks and small businesses go under, the whole system risks hitting this point of no return.
The wealth singularity trap.
Exactly. A state where that social and economic inequality gets locked in, almost impossible to reverse.
That phrase, wealth singularity trap, is pretty chilling. It suggests this permanent division in society. And, it begs the question, are we already seeing the warning signs?
The article thinks so. It makes a pretty bold connection between this trend and things happening right now.
Like what specifically?
It lists things like social unrest, political instability, we see that rising in places, asset seizures in some regions, populist backlash, general global economic wobbles. And the article's conclusion, we're already, in its words, ticking off most of these boxes. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. The author does pivot towards solutions, a call to action, really.
Right, focusing on adaptation.
Yeah, he promotes his own educational programs, actually. One called a rapid cash flow program sounds like it's designed to help people build income streams outside traditional jobs quickly.
Interesting.
And also a stock market course, focusing specifically on investing in AI companies. So trying to get people on the winning side, as it were.
So it's very much about individual empowerment, individual action. And that really captures the essence of the author's final message, I think. He basically says relying on the old ways, what worked before, that's dangerous now. Proactive adaptation is crucial, absolutely essential for navigating what's coming.
Because the change is inevitable.
It's inevitable. And look, AI brings positives, right? Big boost in efficiency, getting rid of unproductive tasks. That's good in many ways. But the transition, that's the dangerous part. It threatens millions of livelihoods, the stability of entire economies.
So the urging is prepare yourself.
Prepare. Protect yourself. Learn new skills, adapt constantly, and try to position yourself to benefit from, rather than be harmed by, this AI revolution.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening right now? This deep dive into the article, The AI Jobs Collapse Has Already Begun, really hammers home its main point. This isn't some far-off sci-fi scenario.
No, it's presented as happening now.
Exactly. It's already reshaping economies, societies. It's hitting not just low-skilled jobs, but a whole range of professions. And it carries this real risk of making inequality much worse.
Yeah, and that idea of the wealth singularity trap, combined with the global ripple effects,
Yeah.
it's a stark picture. But the core takeaway from the author seems to be that proactive adaptation is the key. It's less about fear, maybe, and more about a really urgent call to engage with this change head on.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with. Considering the article's pretty blunt predictions about job losses and this massive economic shift, what parts of your own skills or maybe your industry might actually benefit most from getting ahead of the curve from that proactive adaptation? And how could you maybe start exploring those pathways even starting today?